Hi guys, welcome back to the channel, and as promised from my other vlog, today I'll be talking about what to expect on the day of the interview. Well, when you're going to apply for your type D family reunion visa. So the first step, most important of all, be there on time. If you know you've booked your appointment for 9 p.m. for 9 a.m., be there before 9. If you know you've booked your appointment for, let's say, 10, be there before 10. My motto is this: better too early as too late. Because for other places you can go early. Excuse me, I have to turn the TV volume off. So, as I was saying, my motto is better be early than be late. But for other places, they say better late than never. But for the embassy, it's really important that you're early there. So let's say your appointment is, I've said 9. Be there at, it doesn't matter, be there at 9:30. Be there at 9:30. Of course, by the gate, they know you have an appointment. They may or may not allow you to go inside, but I think they're going to allow you to go inside. But don't also go too early. If your appointment is at, let's say, 11, don't go at 9. That I don't think they're going to allow you inside. But if you know your appointment is at 10, be there at least 9:30, 9:45. You're supposed to be there already, because by the time you get there, when you are late somewhere else. By the time you walk, you get there at the gate, they check your name, then they let you through the interview, they let you through to the gate. Then you're going to go inside the embassy. It's actually not that big, because once you go through the gate, I think you go to your left, and then you go to your right, and then you go inside. It's a little embassy. If you compare it to the German or the Belgian embassy, the Austrian embassy is a bit small, but yeah, be there on time. So once you get there, you're going to also, of course, depending on how early you are there, you're going to be ushered to the waiting bay. And there, the waiting bay, I tell myself this, or rather I would advise you to go through your documents. Of course, you're supposed to do this before you come to the embassy, but some people are nervous. I was a nervous wreck when I was at the embassy, so I had to recheck. Excuse me. Sorry, excuse me. I had to oh my goodness. I had to confirm if I had all the documents. Of course, I had all the documents, but I was just being a bit nervous. That takes me to my next point. Do not be nervous. Yeah, easier said than done. Leichter gesagt als getan. When I was going there myself, I was so nervous. I was shivering. It was a bit cold, but I was sweating. I was a nervous wreck. I drew on my trouser. I was a nervous wreck, but just try to be calm. Don't be nervous. Know why you went there. You went there for your visa application. If you have all the papers and everything is in order, there's actually really no need to be nervous if you have everything there. So yeah, don't be nervous. Just try to take deep breaths, calm down, and just relax. And also, then when whoever was in front of you is gone, then it's your turn. There's actually just two counters. One is for where you take the papers, and I think the other one is for your biometrics data. So the lady there will call you. I don't know if the lady is still there, but when I was applying, when it was my turn to apply, there was a lady there. So the lady there called me, and then she asked me to provide all my papers, and then I gave her all my papers, and then that's when she discovered I had filled the wrong application form instead of filling the type D visa form, and that's when she gave me the correct type of application form to apply. So the lady called me and gave me the form, and after I'd finished, I went back, and then she checked all the papers again, and everything was in order. And that's when the official interview started. So they always, of course, they have to ask how long you've known each other. So if you're in a long distance relationship, these are the important things you need to know. They're going to ask if he's ever come to Kenya to visit you. In my case, they didn't ask me that because they had already seen I was already in Austria, because I was here as an au pair, and then I was here for the tourist visit. So in my case, they didn't ask me if he ever came to Kenya, because they had already seen I was here before, and I already came again as a tourist visa through my husband, so they did ask me that. But if you've never met each other and if you're in a long distance relationship, they're going to ask you that. Has he ever come to visit you in Kenya, or rather, have you ever gone to visit him in Austria? But mostly is, has he ever come to visit you in Kenya? And then in some cases they ask for proof. They ask for, so I'm going to say, if you're in a long distance relationship, preserve your messages. If possible, print them out, all the text messages, all the WhatsApp messages. If there's emails, the emails messages, better print them all out. It's better you have them. It's safer to have them and then they don't ask for them than not to have them and then they ask them. So archive all the messages and emails to be the safe side. Print them out, take them with you to the embassy. And then you also need, if he has ever visited you or if you visited him, they need proof of photos. You have to take the photos you've taken together, the places you visited. As I said, some ask, some don't ask, but it's easier and safer to have them and then they don't ask for them. In my case, they didn't ask for them. Again, as I said, they already saw that I was in Austria for a year and that I again came as a tourist for 3 months, so they didn't ask for proof of messages or emails or proof of photos. But I had them. I had them with me, but they didn't ask them. So yeah, luck was on my side this day. And then they're going to ask how you met. They may ask, they may not ask. They didn't ask me, but they may ask how you met, and not specifically where you met, but how, or yeah. And then they're also going to know the age of your spouse. Know the age. They're going to ask for the full names. They're going to ask for the address. They're going to ask for the age, the exact date of birth, date, month, and year of birth. Those they asked me. They asked me my husband's name, full names, my husband's home address, my husband's telephone number. They also asked, and they also asked for my husband's age, date of birth, date, year, and month of birth. Those you have to know. Those you have. The way you usually cram for exams, those you have to cram and you have to know them, because if you go there, then you don't know the date and month and year of birth. You don't know how old your spouse is. You don't know his address. You don't know his second name. They're going to think, what's the point? Why do you come here? You want to go get married and live with your spouse in Austria, but you know nothing about him. So those are the simple things. And maybe not. They may ask if your partner has his parents are there. They may ask if he has brothers and sisters. These are the little things that they may ask, but they didn't ask me that. I was telling you, this was my lucky day. They didn't ask me so many questions. So yeah, the spouse's name and number, address, and age. Those you have to know whether you like it or not. The way you cram for exams, cram those things. But I wouldn't say cram, because if you have your partner and you've known each other long enough, those are the things that you really need to know offhand. So yeah, those are the things that you really need to put in mind. They may ask you, they may not ask you, but in this case they asked me, so they surely will also ask you. So that's the thing to keep in mind. And then they're going to also ask your spouse's occupation, so you have to also know that. They're going to ask your spouse's occupation, and they're also going to ask where he works. So these are the things also they're supposed to ask your partner. Where do you work? Or rather, yeah, where do you work? What's your occupation? They asked me that. They asked me, do you know where by then he was my partner, of course. Do you know where your partner works? I said yes. Then they asked, do you know his occupation? I said yes. Then they asked me, what is his occupation? I told them. Then they asked me, where does he work? I told them. So yeah, I'm not going to say them here because of my husband's profession. I'm not going to say what he does, but they asked me that, so, and I answered them. That is also something you have to keep in mind. They're going to ask you that. They're going to definitely ask you that. Yeah. And then, yeah, I've said also residential address. They ask for residential address. And then again, after they've asked you these questions, then they leave you there for a bit. Then they have to go and confirm if the notarized documents, if the notar is the if it's a real stamp or a fake stamp. Then they also have to check if your birth certificate names and your ID names are the same. For me, my birth certificate, the way I write Yvonne on my birth certificate, or rather the way Yvonne is written on my birth certificate and the way Yvonne is written on my school documents, it's totally different. So I had to go to the to, how is it called? I've forgotten where I went or how it's called. I had to go to them and they had to prove that yes, this is the same Yvonne. Well, let me say, yeah, the names on my ID and birth certificate were Yvonne is written the same, but in my school documents, my Yvonne, the name Yvonne is written in Y. I don't know why I wrote in Y the whole time, although it's written with I. I always wrote YVONNE, although in my ID and my birth certificate it's IVONE. So in case your spelling of your name is different, you also have to, they're also going to check if it has been, you have to get, how is it called? I think a notar. How is it called? Yeah, you have to look for a lawyer to state that those are all your names and just that the spelling is different, but all of them are your names. So because they also asked me, I also gave them my school documents. They didn't need them, but I just gave them. I went there really with all the documents I have because they checked and they asked me, how come the way you write Yvonne on your school documents is not the same way you've written Yvonne is written on your birth and your ID card. So I showed them the paper where the lawyer had written that all of them, that's me. It's just different spellings of Yvonne, but all the Yvonnes are me. So, and once I showed them the paper, they didn't ask me anything because they saw, the lawyer wrote and stamped. So they also had to check if that was a real lawyer, of course. So they have their, of course, if you're a lawyer in Kenya, you are registered. So they just went and checked and they found his name and the name of his firm. So they confirmed that, yeah, he's a real deal. And yeah, that's it. Yeah, and I think those are the few questions they're going to ask. In the Austrian embassy, it's really, I had a really easy time, I tell you. It was really easy. They didn't have any problem. So after they checked and confirmed that all the information and the documents I've given are true, they sent me to the next counter to get my photo taken and my biometrics taken. Yeah, and then, yeah, that's it. And then they called me they sent me an SMS and an email after exactly 1 week. Really, exactly 1 week. They told me your visa is ready for collection. And yeah, that's it for what to expect on the day of the interview. As I said, be on time, don't be nervous, have all the documents in order, and you're not going to have any problems. And some people I've watched other vlogs where people ask, is it possible or is it okay for me to forge my documents? Do not forge any documents, because once they find out you forged the document, you're going to go on it's sort of the blacklist or the black book. And it's possible that you forge your documents and then when they find out your documents are forged, they're going to keep you in a system that you have forged documents. And it's also possible they're going to send your names to the Schengen area and they're going to say, oh, beware, this lady or this man faked the document, so be aware. So really, as tempting as it might be, do not forge any documents. Get your documents through the right track. Get your documents to the official and legal government offices and get your documents in order, and you're not going to have any problems on the day of the interview. If you have everything in order, there's really no problem, because my interview took less than half an hour. Really. In half an hour, I was done. I was already going to biometrics. So as I said, if your documents are in order, you're not going to have any problems when you're applying for your visa under the day of the interview. So guys, that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed today's vlog. I'll see you guys later. Be good, be nice, be blessed.